Guess who's back? Back again. Paulie's back. Tell a friend. It's the top five brought to you by Flag and Anthem. Use our promo code 365 sports at checkout for a discount. Hey, 2 whole games are in the books. Let's talk hot seats. And look, we do it a little differently here. We grade up the scale of, these are all pretty hot, but where they are right now and where they could progress to. We'll do this a couple times throughout the season. Number 5, prescription strength deodorant. Look, you're sweating a lot. You got to go to the doctor and say, Doc, I'm pitting out like crazy. You got to give me some of that stuff with extra aluminum in it because it's all showing through. Tony Elliott at Virginia lost to NC State last week. Not the look they wanted to start the season, especially since they're paying over $1 million for quarterback Chandler Morris, a journeyman, to say the least, to come in and help them win. That's not going to work out well for Tony Elliott unless the Who's get it turned around. And yes, I said the Who's and not the Cavs because for whatever reason, that's what they say there. I don't know. Didn't go to Virginia. It is what it is. Number 4, is the AC broken? Brent Pry. Right now, he's trying to run that thing on 60, 58 degrees because it is feeling hot in Blacksburg for him. They're just so blah, and that's not what they want. What kind of players are they getting? What's the roster like? They're just stuck. Also, it did not do him any favors that he lost a game to the son of their most legendary coach to start the season. Shane Beamer winning that game, it's just going to sting a little bit more. When the South Carolina quarterback goes and hands the ball to Frank Beamer, that is something that we burned in the Hokie headspace until Brent Pry is not there anymore. Number 3, does anyone else smell that? DeShaun Foster, maybe the least equipped head coach at the Power 4 level. After the Utah game where they got splattered like a bug on a windshield, he said he liked where they were at. The Nico Iamaleava situation was not a great look for either side, and clearly looks like at least some minor impropriety was going on there, the way it all went down. And he lost that trade so far. Joey Aguilar's looked fantastic for the Vols so far. Not to mention his whole weird media policy, he just doesn't seem like he gets it. And look, it's the Big Ten. They're getting a bunch of money. Now, they have to send a little bit of it over to Cal, but that's not really that big of a deal. They should be on the stage in a much bigger way. But UCLA is kind of like the UNC of the Pac-12, Big Ten, like that. Like, they should be better, but they're ultimately just a basketball school when it all comes down to it for now. Number 2, the slow burn has gotten faster. This one was a slow burn, but Mike Gundy lost a game 69-3 to Oregon. That's fine for a coach who's in his first year, but a coach who's in his 21st year playing against a coach who makes the same kind of money that he does, they're not paying Mike Gundy the money he makes to lose games by 66 points. They are paying him that kind of money to be on the same level as Oregon. Now, make all the excuses for the reasons why that is or isn't that you can. The bottom line is Mike Gundy's got a high salary, and those guys are not supposed to lose 69-3 to anyone. He shouldn't have lost 69-3 if he was playing the Eagles. That should just not happen. That was an embarrassment to the next level, and the clock is ticking louder and louder on Mike Gundy. And number 1, honey, call the realtor, Billy Napier. LSU, A&M, Miami coming up on the schedule, not to mention the cocktail party against Georgia after he lost at home to USF. Let me give you a little history lesson. Back a few years ago, Bobby Bowden was still the coach at Florida State, and they lost at home to Jim Leavitt and USF. And Jim Leavitt said, this is the biggest game in the history of our school. And he was right. And guess what happened shortly after that? Bobby Bowden got retired, and Jimbo Fisher took over. Well, Billy Napier is no Bobby Bowden. And the Gators are 20-20 over his time there. They're paying him a lot of money, just like Mike Gundy, a little less than Mike Gundy, but still a lot of money. And let's not forget that Todd Golden's Title IX investigation probably gave him the 2 weeks of cover he needed last year to avoid getting fired then. Nothing has changed. He's got a quarterback that's very highly thought of, that's looked really rusty in the early going because he didn't practice a lot, coming off of injuries in the spring and the early part of fall camp. So DJ Lagway's got to get going, and he's got to get going against one of the better defenses in the country this week against LSU. Not an easy task. I've said on this show many times, Billy Napier was either going to get a contract extension by October 1st or fired by October 1st. And I was giving them the benefit of the doubt that they might steal one of these big ones from Miami or LSU or Georgia or A&M. And maybe they still will. I don't think that happens. I don't think his job is safe. Florida has been in a bad way about hiring coaches since Urban Meyer left, and Billy Napier's not getting it done. And I can't even begin to tell you the candidates that I think for this job because I have no idea where they're going to go. They've tried every which way to make this thing better, but I think the clock, it's not ticking. It's over. It's moved out of his office. He doesn't have a clock. He is just waiting for the axe to fall now because Billy Napier showed what he can do in Gainesville. The basketball program, in spite of that Title IX investigation into Todd Golden, I don't think I need to tell you, is doing pretty good since they're the defending national champs. He's got no cover anymore. Billy Napier is on the chopping block. Make no mistake. That's going to do it for us. Andrew Vallet's got information that we must disseminate promptly.